So fine, he did that before the half. He did it again in the second half to go from down 12 to down 9, or it might have been from 15 to 12. I don't remember, but I know I was disgusted with how his choice and his reasoning behind the choices all, to me, scream conservative. It screams, hey, let's just try to stay in this thing. Hey, let's just try to keep this thing close. Buffalo could have got blown out in the divisional round. You know what I mean? We our defense stepped up a little bit to force 2 punts, and we stopped them one, so a couple field goal attempts, but it could have got out of hand in that game as well had it not been for 17. And we cannot go any further in this episode without at least talking about what a historic performance that was. Adam, to be honest, man, week 16, you got a hand clap, man, because honestly, week 16 against the Patriots, I said that was his best game as a Bill. Then he backs it up with perfection in the park, wild card round against the Patriots. Then he backs it up again with his next best game, and these were the 3 best games I've ever seen Josh Allen play, hands down. He won the game twice, Adam. He won the game twice. Talk about that, man.
Man, that's what makes it even harder. This whole thing. If it was a tight game and they lost the way they did, it's one thing. But the historic performance 17 is put out. The game, New England going into this game, just playoff-wise, it was absolutely incredible. What else can you need and ask for other than that ring?
Nothing. From
your franchise quarterback.
Nothing.
What else do you want him to do?
Nothing.
What other qualities is he able to have? He's got it all, and it's gradually working itself into greatness. I'm off the bias train for the first 2 years, or even the last 2 years I've been on the. Josh Allen's great, but I'm biased because
he's our quarterback. I feel like T.O. I feel like T.O.
If you don't like the Bills at all and watch any game film on him, it's over. He's gonna go down as one of the greats, and that's what really got me was how great he played and what he needed to do. All the pressure on him. Get to the playoffs. Got there, lost a heartbreaker in Houston. Do it again. Get to the playoffs. Got there. Team, him, not up to the task last year.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the Super Bowl this year. Literally, probably 13 seconds away from it, and he couldn't have played any better. Right in his hands, whenever he needed to. Adjusted mid-game when Diggs wasn't open. No problem. I'll find somebody else who is.
I mean, come on. Remember that fourth down? Remember the fourth down scramble to keep the game alive? I mean, he's. So many things he did. I don't mean to cut you off. Just amazing.
Every game, it's endless list. So he's adaptive. He is becoming what he needs to be, and he's only going to get better. And he's going to get to a point where I hope he just becomes untouchable. What really hurt me was him coming off the field after those 2 touchdowns and the hype and the sway. Like his fire coming off that field, it just was. I was like,
you could see it through the TV, man. Everybody that was watching that game could see it.
I was almost in tears how pumped up he was. Got me so pumped up, and then to just have the rug just pulled right out from under him. And I feel, as much as I felt bad, and all of us felt bad, how bad do I feel for 17 after that?
No, I felt horrible for him. My middle son, I've got 3 boys, and my middle son's 8 years old. He was crying like a baby. Nate was a wreck. I mean, he was crying before we even lost the game. He was crying when Gabriel Davis caught the second touchdown pass, and he was just a wreck emotionally. So it was really hard to watch that game, and it was really hard as a parent just to watch and see the disappointment on his face. Josh Allen, I mean, what else can you say? If you have not been a believer, I literally like it. That's why I was joking around about that T.O. I mean, that's my quarterback. I'm ready to fight people now over him. Like that's my quarterback. I feel like T.O. That's my quarterback, and I'll fight somebody over him. So his performance was so otherworldly that it really is a shame that somebody had to lose that game. I don't care about the Chiefs, so I really wish that we could have won that game, obviously. But it really was. They were just talking about it in the barbershop the other day. It really was one of the great games that we've ever seen, and I have to admit that that's the best game I've ever seen, front to back. 2 teams. It felt like a heavyweight fight. It felt like we win the toss, we're winning the game. You know what I mean? Like it was just that simple. Like there's no doubt in my mind.
And the whole top to bottom. Yeah, like you said, the whole game. And obviously the score showed it too. Tied at halftime, tied at regulation. It couldn't have been more evenly matched. And the way it kind of worked itself out as well, the only time the Chiefs got up more than a touchdown was when they had consecutive possessions with each other. So it was as evenly matched as you could get a game.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy, between statistics and everything else. And, so as much as it hurts, we can take some life gratitude in the fact of it probably was the best game we've ever seen.
Yeah, it really was. And it'll be a treat to watch Josh as he continues to mature. I think that this is his offense. Obviously we'll talk in a later episode about Brian Dable moving on and what that means for the Buffalo Bills offense going forward. But I kind of feel like he could be on cruise control. One of the points that I want to make and want to remind everybody is that they do not burn the playbook now that Brian Dable left. Okay, so everybody relax. They're not going to burn the playbook. They've got copies of it. So whether the new guy comes in and he's an outsider or whether he's an insider, it doesn't matter if it's Dorsey or not. They've got access to the playbook. So everybody just calm down. These are professionals. We're going to have to put a little bit of faith in them. And obviously, how could you not have faith in 17? And how could you not have faith in what he's done in his career? His ascension is truly something out of a storybook. A guy that they were making fun of when he was drafted, saying he was a parody of an NFL quarterback, to now literally he's top two, whatever. Whatever day of the week it is. Yeah, whatever day of the week it is, you could pick.
I'll stand on the mountain all day for top 2 right now.
Sounds good to me. That sounds good. All right, as we get ready to wrap up, I wanted to give a quick story for all Bills fans out there, and this is not to be morbid, it is not to be down, it's not to be pessimistic, and I definitely can't wait to hear, Adam, your thoughts on it as well. But here's what I wrote for my notes on this wrap up. A couple stories. Every single season is its own independent event, okay? I know that we talk about momentum. I know we talk, during the drought, it sucked watching the team go 6-10, and then at the end of the year, they get some meaningless win week 17, and then they ask the guys after the game, what do you think? You have any momentum going into next year? Are you kidding? It's the offseason. They're going on vacation. They've got kids. They've got families. They've got so many other things to do before they report back in July for training camp. So don't give me momentum. Every single season is its own independent event. It's not a run-on sentence. Just to try to pick back up from where you left off, that's not possible. Okay, sometimes it happens, but it doesn't work that way most times. The 2020 season to the 2021 season, just now for the Bills, totally different. The offense was different. It played a little bit better at times. It played a little bit worse at times. It's just every season. Make sure that you remember that they're all independent events. I definitely want to tell you about 2 quarterbacks. One of them was a stud. He comes out and he's a stud, and they think that, this guy could be really good. He comes out, he lights the league on fire. His second year, he leads his team to the Super Bowl. 5,000 yards, 48 touchdowns. He goes to the Super Bowl and he loses. He never goes back. Widely considered one of the greatest arm talents in the league. When we talk about arm talent, I'm not talking about Tom Brady and the greatest quarterback, the most winning quarterback of all time. Dan Marino, one of the most talented quarterbacks ever. Arm talent, ever. Gets to 1 Super Bowl, never goes back. Aaron Rodgers, another quarterback that a lot of people are fond of, and he's obviously in the news now all the time, and it's kind of getting annoying. But his career, you can't knock his game, okay? You can't knock the way that he drops dimes into people all over the receiver. Donald Driver and Greg Jennings and all the receivers. And now he's got Devontae Adams. He has been a surgeon his entire career. Great spiral on the ball, and everything looks so pretty and effortless. 1 Super Bowl appearance. Now, obviously, the Bills, we've been spoiled with Jim Kelly taking us to 4 straight, and those teams with Marv Levy leading the way. That's not like it is for every team. We just saw yesterday the Bengals go to the Super Bowl for the first time since 1988, their 3rd Super Bowl appearance of all time. Don't get spoiled by what Josh has been giving us, okay? Yeah. One of the main reasons why I was so adamant before the divisional round of taking advantage of your opportunities is because of the fact that I realize how quickly this stuff can change. The team is going to look a lot different. Now we lost our coordinator. There's going to be roster changes, different things like that. Just because you've got a great quarterback does not guarantee you success. I want all Bills Mafia to understand that, and I'll repeat it. Just because you've got a great quarterback does not mean that you've got instant success that just lasts and lasts and lasts. I know Patrick Mahomes is trying to put a little monkey wrench in that right now, but it doesn't last forever, and it's not just automatic every single year. I felt that the Bills let an opportunity slip by, and I know how you felt before this game because we did the episode together, Adam. Talk to me about, am I off on that by warning Bills fans about that? I'm not trying to be pessimistic. I'm just saying that it was a golden opportunity. Now, who knows if we beat the Bengals? I don't know if we're going to beat the Bengals. I would have felt that we would have beat the Bengals. I think that we had a better defense, and obviously their defense played much better against Patrick Mahomes yesterday than the Bills did. Or maybe Pat had a bad game, or maybe it's a little bit of both. But the Bills, I thought, were in a great situation, and maybe they get to the Super Bowl and they lose to the Rams. It's not about being guaranteed. All I'm saying is that you have an opportunity. It's in front of you. You got to go capture it. Josh Allen is on the last year coming up next year of his smaller deal, the rookie deal. The fifth-year option kicks in next year. It's going to be about 15, 16, 17 million, something like that. Then the real money starts kicking in 2023. I would advise all Bills fans to make sure that you buckle up for this. It's going to be different going forward. We laid an egg. Now, who you want to lay that egg on, who's got the egg on their face, I don't know who you want to blame. I tend to lean towards the coaching because he's the head man, and that's just where I'm going to end up with it. And I already had preconceived notions about Sean McDermott, so that's where I feel comfortable with it. Everybody, you can do whatever you want to do with it. But my main point to wrap up this episode is that don't take it for granted. When you have an opportunity, you got to go get it. And I think the Bills really laid an egg with this one because of the fact that who knows when we get back. Because there's not one Dolphins fan back in 1984 after the Super Bowl that you could have told they weren't going back. They had the electrifying quarterback, Dan Marino. He's lighting the league up. He just set records literally for the league at that time. They probably all thought they were going back. Same thing with Packer fans. Same thing with Denver Bronco fans. They've gone through a little bit of their heartache during the 90s with John Elway losing a lot of Super Bowls until he finally got Terrell Davis and they won some at the end. So you might think that it's easy. You might think that it's just going to be something that just comes. It's not like that, Adam. Please speak to it, and please let the Nickel City crew, let the crew know I'm not crazy with that. Or if I'm crazy, then just tell me.
No, you're not at all. I mean, this NFL, and we talked about it last episode, is just getting bigger, faster, stronger. And, you got guys coming up through that, teams are going to be really good in a couple of years that weren't. And a perfect example is this Bengals team. They had literally last place in the league, first draft pick overall 2 years ago, and this year they're in the Super Bowl. But let's play both sides of that. Mm-hmm. Josh, let's say 5 years from now, the money's rolling in, the defense gets old, we have some big holes in this team. But on the contrary to this Bengals side, the Bills were a lot better roster this year than the Bengals were, and the Bengals are in the Super Bowl. So it doesn't necessarily mean, just because we'll be losing guys and losing players that it won't be as easy, but there's still opportunity to get to the big one. It's super competitive league and then on the other end of that too, Patrick Mahomes. I'll be back, and then they could have easily lost to the Bills 2 weeks ago, and then got knocked off at home this year when they thought it was a shoo-in. They were going back to the Super Bowl.
Absolutely, up 21-3. Absolutely.
So, that's a kind of a taste that way too. I think it's realistic to know we definitely had an opportunity slip out of our fingers. I really hope it's not the story of Marino and Rodgers. I think there's some, digging on both of those that you can really kind of look at and see, maybe it's organizational, maybe it's, as
coaching.
Both of those teams, even though weren't back. Yes, exactly. Coaching and, when it comes to Rodgers, him not getting a first-round offensive draft pick in however many years it was,
Mm-hmm.
So there's plenty of reasons that could have happened. I am definitely real in the fact that it's going to be tough to get back, and we aren't just going to flip a switch and get back there. But I think 17's got some dog in him.
Oh, yeah. He showed it.
that nobody else has. And I think that comes down to, he can make the throws. He can will the team down the field with his arm. But when he gets those fourth down runs and he's literally running through corners, taking them out of the game. Who was that guy from the Chiefs? Was it Ward?
Yeah, I think it
took
was
him
to
out of the
Javarius Ward.
game
Yep.
by just shouldering through his chest.